It took everything I had to not fall asleep watching this episode. It really did. Now, we watched it the wrong time of day, so that has to be taken into consideration, but at the same time, like, I almost cracked, like, 2 times.
You know what?
And that shouldn't be happening.
Do you want to know the mad thing?
Don't say you were too.
Once so did I. Like, it's kind of crazy. You'd think with the end of the last episode and the introduction of all these other Loki variants, because they're all survivors, right? It would be interesting. Somehow it was very mundane. And I feel like that doesn't make sense because the premise of this episode should have been more exciting.
And from the last episode, I thought this was going to be the best episode so far, and it just turned out to be flat.
Meh.
Hey, NarendraTheComic again!
India.
No, we're going on Sensei, but we have episode 5 of Loki. Now, as we said there, a pretty disappointing episode. I would say the second worst episode of the show so far. And considering there have only been 5 episodes and 2 of them have been a bit subpar, that's not really a great hit record because the first 2 episodes were great.
But I feel like Loki has started off really well and it's just like slowly petered out. Even though the premise of this should be so interesting, this particular episode, you know, Loki variants, trying to get away from this big Goliath monster.
Dormammu-esque creature.
Yes, trying to survive in the place where no one should be able to survive. But Loki's the survivors, right? And it was just very underwhelming. Even though some of these characters were good, like the classic Loki, I liked his character.
Kid Loki I wasn't really feeling, to be honest with you.
Nah.
Classic Loki, his laugh was a bit much, but then he's old classic Loki, so maybe you get away with it. Then there was Black Loki, but looking like Thor a little bit, and I wasn't sure where I felt about that. But then he gave them up and double-crossed them for President Loki. And then there was a bunch, like 13 or 14 other Lokis that just turned up. The problem is, right, why are they all humanoid other than Alligator Loki?
Doesn't make sense.
Like, Loki is not human. He's a Jotun. He's a Jotunheim. He's from there. He's an ice monster. So why are they all human? Unless, as you said, Odin didn't actually go and fight the Jotuns in all the other timelines. He actually fought against another alien planet, and they're all children of another planet and not Jotunheim. But then why are they all human?
Is it that each Loki happens to prefer the magic of making them seem humanoid? If that's so, why is there Alligator Loki? Because it doesn't make sense. I was expecting like Korg Lokis, Meek, you know, Meek Lokis. Because you've got the whole universe, right?
You've got the 9 realms.
Right, so you've got the 9 realms. There are still interesting things going on in the 9 realms. So why wasn't there one of those? Also, we didn't actually see a Jotun Loki. Why not?
Yeah, that could have been something, but I guess it's money at the end of the day. They could have done it, but it's expensive to do that type of stuff.
So why did you bust on the Alligator Loki?
Yeah. The Alligator Loki was funny, but at the same time, like, it kind of got old because the running joke was don't question it.
Yeah.
Because obviously there's not really an answer to it. There's nothing, because he can't explain what's been going on, because he's an alligator. But then there was other moments in this episode which were good, which stood out, like Frog Thor.
Yeah, real quick little
in
bit
a jar?
Yep.
I don't know what's going on there. There was the Thanos copter as well.
Yep.
Seemingly, there was Yellow Jacket's helmet as well. So, I'm not sure if Yellow Jacket just went there after Ant-Man. He was left in the void because he went through like the quantum realm and just blipped into nothingness. Was he sent there? And is he dead now? Because there was just a giant helmet.
Huge.
So maybe he became Super Giant Yellow Jacket, just like Ant-Man became Giant Man in the future MCU films. But definitely weird stuff.
Mobius is back, though. I was very happy to see him. He just he didn't waltz in. He drove in on like a pizza delivery car.
Nice.
And picked up Sylvie. I was very glad to see that he survived. I am interested to see what he does when he goes back to the TVA. Will he burn it down? Will there be him against the Judge? What's going to happen there?
Yeah.
I was also glad to see that Loki and him actually kind of ended as friends and like there was a hug there. Mobius sort of signifies this version of Loki's growth.
Yeah, I think Mobius is this version of Loki's Phil Coulson, actually.
Yeah.
I said that in the last episode when we were watching it. You do feel that he has changed him for the better and he's accelerated his growth compared to the traditional MCU timeline.
Sylvie's done that too. I wasn't very happy with this Loki-Sylvie moment. I just can't get my head round it. It's very weird. It's basically incest.
No, I'm bleeping that.
It's self-cessed.
No, it's self.
Is that a thing?
We can call it self-love.
This is a very odd brand of self-love. I will be very honest. Also, it doesn't make sense. Another one. I just thought of it.
Okay.
Why is Sylvie the only woman Loki that's made it to the void. There were a bunch of other Lokis, but they were all men. So is she just a super variant where it's so unlikely that there's a gender swap?
It's also just not that, because they can make them seem like whatever they want. So Loki, the Loki we know, can just turn up as Pepper Potts if he wants.
That's true.
So, like, this is just the form that they're projecting on themselves, but that might actually be a male Loki at the same time, but just projecting himself as a woman. Maybe to disarm people. I don't know. You don't know, because she's not actually human. That's just a human form.
I mean, yeah, I keep forgetting, because they've been visualised as humans, you keep forgetting that they're not real humans.
I'm sure most people don't even know that Loki is an ice monster. People watching this, most people don't know. Because they're just watching and be like, oh, it's Tom Hiddleston. But he's an ice monster. That's what he is.
You know, not much went on, really.
Yeah, I think that's a weird thing, because there could have been so much more to this episode, and it didn't really push the story forward very much. Like, you look at episode 1 and 2, they've built this whole world out. Like, oh my god, the Infinity Stones aren't really that powerful, because for some reason their magic doesn't work here. There seem to be runes in the last episode with the TVA timekeepers in there, so magic doesn't work there. There's a lot of other stuff going on here. And then you get to episode 3, and then you get to episode 4, and you're like, hang on. There's all this shit that's happened to build this story forward. And especially with the end of the last episode, it kind of felt like there wasn't enough time given to this story to just be like, oh, the timekeepers are just fake. And the TVA might be a false authority. And it might just be a front to something else. It didn't feel like that was earned in those first 4 episodes.
Well, 4 episodes is a very short amount of time when you think about it. I know they were like 40, 50 minutes around. But you'd expect a storyline like that to span at least 8 episodes.
More.
Maybe 10
just
episodes.
That storyline.
Yeah.
Just that part. Not the resolution, which is coming in the next episode. And that one, I don't know what's going on with that one. We said Kang. Maybe it's not Kang. Maybe there's just going to be a lackeyer Kang dealing with what's happening at the TVA and not actually him. But there's a lot of stuff to resolve. It will get resolved in the last episode, or maybe it won't get resolved, and that'll lead to the stuff in Doctor Strange 2, in WANDAVISION, because that hasn't happened yet in this show, and in Spider-Man No Way Home. So there's a lot of possibilities ahead. The multiverse is coming. We might be getting some Secret War stuff. We might be getting that. We don't know. There were rumors many years ago being like, maybe this Nick Fury show is setting up Secret Wars with the Skrulls and all this other stuff. We don't know. What we do know is this show I thought was going to be the best MCU show. It's turned out to be not the best MCU show. Because right now I'd say WandaVision is number 1.
Yeah.
And I didn't really love the first 4 episodes because it was just a bit all over the place. You didn't really get the plot going until the last 3 or 4 episodes. So I would say WandaVision number 1, and then maybe Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then this. Because considering we've only had 5 episodes and 2 of them have been and the first 2 were actually good. It's like, where do you really want to place it? Unless the 3rd episode bangs, then maybe I can be like, it's the 2nd best.
I think I'd actually agree with you. I feel like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, at least the storyline, made sense with the time they gave it.
It made sense in the world. WandaVision made sense to some degree. This one is just... So yeah, don't hate us, please. It's just our opinions. We could be wrong. It's likely. It's probably possible because most people are loving this show. And I've said some of the episodes have been great. More than half of them. But when you have a hit rate like that, I just don't think it's hit the heights it could have done. Anyway, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please do like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel down there. If you didn't, Loki himself gonna come after you. You don't want that. Kid Loki, old Loki, Black Loki, Alligator Loki, President Loki, Loki, Sylvie Loki. A lot of Lokis. There'll be a lot of Thors, a lot of Captain Americas, a lot of Iron Mans, a lot of all these characters potentially in the future, all looking different. Recasting is not going to be an issue in the future. You don't want that. Do they want that?
No.
You really don't. So just subscribe anyway to avoid that. I've been NarendraTheComic.
I've been India.
She's been on Censor. You've been Graham. We'll see you next time. That's tomorrow. If you don't know, make a video every single day. Been doing it every day for over 1,000 days now. We ain't stopping till we get 10,000 subscribers, so do subscribe. Pop back again tomorrow for some more quality shitty content, because we're hashtag never not here, just how it goes. Also bring the bakwas means nonsense in Punjabi, and we also bring that. Bring a lot. Bring a little, do a lot, do a little, but we do indeed bring the quality shitty content on a daily basis. So see you tomorrow. More of the same, slightly different, but essentially the very same. Once more. See you then. Skadoosh.